We are back, everybody, for round 2 of this new era of the Coffees and Content podcast. So to those of you who are tuning in today, welcome back. It is so nice to have you here. I have my morning brew sitting on the table with me, ready to go, because today's episode, I guess I'm not drinking tea, I'm drinking coffee, but today's episode is piping hot and filled with so many good insights. So officially, welcome back to episode 2 of the new era of the Coffees and Content podcast, the space and I guess corner of the internet where we have real conversations over here about marketing, growing, and really building a business that actually feels pretty damn good to run. And I think to add to that, fun. Really, really fun to run. I'm your host, Lauren Tomlinson, and today we're going to be talking about something that I know a lot of founders are feeling at the moment. And today's episode is actually inspired by a client of mine because we had a coaching session this morning together and we dove into what I think a lot of business owners are really struggling with at the moment, which is what the heck do I do for Black Friday? And no, I know that because you're listening to this episode and it's like mid-November and you're thinking it's too late, I've missed the bandwagon, I don't know what I can do about it. No. Let me rewrite that belief and we're going to change that up. It is not too late. It is never too late. Black Friday traditionally is like an end of November thing. It was on Black Friday, then we had Cyber Monday, and now it seems to be that like the whole month of November is Black Friday month. It's like Black Friday November, I guess. And it seems to be that everyone wants to be doing the sales as early and as crazily as possible. And so I know that feeling. I know the feeling of thinking, okay, I just don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to offer. I don't even know how to go about it because it just feels so scattered. So that's what today's episode is all around, is making it a lot easier for you to navigate Black Friday for 2025. So let's get into it. If you're listening to this and you're one of those people, which this pool is very large, might I remind you, where your Black Friday campaign is like a Google document, or it's a half-finished Canva post, or it's a notes app in your phone that is like half filled, or it's a few things scribbled down on a Post-it note. Like I said, I want to remind you that you are not alone. There are so many other business owners in the same boat as you. And just because it feels like we're seeing Black Friday deals and Black Friday sales popping up left, right, and center on social media does not mean that it's too late. And I think the thing that I see with Black Friday in particular is most small businesses don't fail on Black Friday because they didn't try. Where they tend to go a little bit wobbly, I'd say, and where we tend to stall or see a bit of stalling with our marketing is because there's no structure. It's that panic of, oh my goodness, it's the Friday of Black Friday and I don't have any content to post, or I haven't thought about anything, so let's whack a post up and just hope for the best. And the thing that I see a lot of the time is, and like I said, I had a client session about this exact thing this week, is people have ideas. Us as business owners, we have ideas. We have the products, we have the services, we have the knowledge, we have the drive, and we have the excitement. But where it all tends to fall apart is that we don't have that plan to actually connect the dots. And it feels like everything is a little bit scattered. So I think that a lot of the time is what drives the feeling of feeling like we're behind, feeling like I haven't prepped. My client today literally said to me, I feel like I just don't have enough time. I feel like I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't have a good plan. And so that's exactly what we're going to do today, is get clear and then get going from there. The second myth that I notice a lot in these, I guess, Black Friday and big sale periods too. Like what I'm about to share with you is not just relevant to Black Friday. This can be used for Christmas. This can be used again in the new year. This is stuff that you can repeat anytime that you have a campaign that you want to be running. And that is that it doesn't need to be massive and complicated for it to work. I know it feels like that when we look at social media. We see, and I've seen it even just looking today on my Instagram feed, there are so many different graphics that people have posted for Black Friday. There's so many creative videos. And as the founder of a business that has a small team, I also understand that capacity can sometimes feel like we are just completely stretched. We don't have the capacity, whether you are a solo business owner, whether you have a small team, you might have a marketing department that has nobody in it that knows how to work an iPhone. So it's all about working within your capacity and your capabilities. But just because you're seeing other people do these crazy eccentric campaigns doesn't mean that because yours may not look like that or be to that standard or be that extravagant or that extreme, it doesn't mean it's not going to fly. You don't need to have, contrary to popular belief, you don't need to have dozens of graphics. You also don't need to have multiple offers. Sometimes the most simple campaigns are the most effective because we're not drowning out our regular offers and we're drowning out everything else with a whole bunch of noise that doesn't actually make sense. You also don't need to post every day. If anyone has told you that you need to post every day, please just ignore them. You do not need to be showing up all the time. What you do need to be doing, though, is showing up with clarity. You need to be putting your best foot forward. Any pieces of content that you put on social media or send out in an email or use for an advertising campaign between now and basically the end of the year, focus on potency. Focus on it being really strategic, focus on the message, focus on the value, focus on the creative. Do not focus on the number of times that you post. If you are looking for how many times to show up on social media, take that thought and apply it to your Instagram stories. Don't worry about showing up on your feed 50 different times because all it's going to do is add to that overwhelm and add to that stress. And that's what happens at Christmas time is we all get stressed. We all get overwhelmed and we all start to think, oh my goodness, you know what? I'm just going to put my phone down and I'm going to walk away. And that, my friends, is one of the worst things we can do because now is the time people are buying. You also don't need fancy funnels either. I know that there's a lot of email marketing, automations and strategies, and we can use ManyChat to incorporate this in our Instagram pages. There's so many things we can do, but I want to, have this episode be a reminder to you, a really gentle, friendly reminder that anything like that you want to incorporate, you can do that in the new year. Just because the end of the year is coming and the calendar runs out and we have to go buy a new one at the mall or at the supermarket or at the bookstore, just because we start with a brand new calendar and this one effectively ends on the 31st of December, it does not mean that your opportunities to market your business and grow and expand and adjust and change the internal processes that you've got going on, it doesn't mean that when we get to December that that's done and we have no further opportunities. So what I'd really encourage you to do before I get into anything to do with Black Friday, I want you to do one thing today. I want you to find a piece of paper. I want you to draw a line down the middle, and I want you to make 2 columns. And I want one of those columns to be the things that need to happen right now that are an absolute necessity for my business. So things like planning out my Black Friday offer, planning out my Christmas offer, creating content for those periods, or at least coming up with the concepts. And then on the other side of this page, on the other column, I want you to write down as you go throughout your weeks and your days, I want you to note down anything on there that is a great thing to have for the business, a great thing to do, but isn't something that is going to drastically impact your business and help you generate additional revenue on this side of Christmas. Perfect example, ManyChat for me. I very much desperately want to integrate this, especially with this new update that if you haven't heard, it's a game changer. There is now the feature where anytime you get a new follower on Instagram, you can instantly send them a message with ManyChat to welcome them to your community and say hi, which I love. I think it is such a great way, especially if you can really personalize it. It's such a great way to be able to welcome people into your community. However, I'm aware that between now and Christmas, I or one of my team can still directly message the people that start to follow us on our socials. We don't need this. It's not a necessity. It is, yes, a nice to have, and absolutely it will save us more time, but there's other things for us that are of more importance than sitting and setting up ManyChat. So take note and just do a bit of an audit as you go throughout your day of what is it that I need to do and what is it that I would like to do. You can also still incorporate some of those likes and wants into your day when you've got free little blips of time. But if you find yourself putting off the necessities and the really, important tasks because there are things that are, more quote unquote fun to do, that's when we need to do a bit of an audit. And I think ultimately, though, what works really well for winning at campaigns and winning at promotions, launches, anything like that is, especially for small businesses, is focus. And like I said, especially with this having 2 columns on the side of a page, it's really having that focus. It's knowing what is going to be worthwhile with my time, what is valuable to my audience, what is going to generate me money. Because ultimately, this is the period of the year where we have the opportunity to have sales and people's wallets are open. People's cards are loaded on their computers and they are ready to spend. And if we have something that our ideal client or our ideal target audience sees online at the right time in the right place, they will buy your offer if you've communicated it correctly. And so what I want to talk you through today is the strategy that we use with our clients and the strategy that I teach my clients to keep things really, really simple. And of course, we can bulk this up and we can build it out in 52 different ways. But I think to keep things really simple and to get you started today so that you can end listening to this episode feeling like you have a really good game plan, this is the exact funnel and focus that I want you to use. First things first is having one clear offer. Like I said, you don't need to have 52 different offers or a whole bunch of different things that are available. Just focus for the sake of getting something out there that is really easy for you to put together. Start with having one clear offer. Once you've decided on what that clear offer is it a freebie? Is it a gift with purchase? Is it 50, 60, 70% off something? Whatever your offer is and whatever products/services that is attached to, then I want you to think about what is one clean message that you can use to communicate this. Once you have your clean core message, then of course you can start to get a bit creative and you can change things up a little bit. And the last one is repetition. And we're going to dive into all of these in just a second, but repetition so people actually hear it. For all of you who have ever thought, why don't people come to my seminars? Why don't people sign up for my workshops? Why don't people come to my webinars? Why don't people message me when I have a new launch? I really want you to ask yourself, if I look at my social media, my advertising, my email marketing, if I really analyze all of those, how many times have I actually talked about my offer? I have been guilty of this in the past too, but what a lot of business owners do is we spend so much of our day, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, we spend so much of our day in our heads thinking about our business, acting on our business, doing business, talking to, those people in our immediate circle about our business. But what we don't do is take those conversations and put them online. And so when we're sitting there thinking, nobody booked in, nobody signed up, nobody did this, nobody did that, I want you to actually look back at how many times you've repeated something and go, did I talk about this enough? For those of you who have been listening to the podcast since, the beginning of time, you'll know that I've talked about this thing called the rule of 7, and it kind of sort of no longer applies entirely, but it is a great foundational concept that I still really love to talk about. And I use this with my coaching clients. And that is this concept of having 7 individual touch points that a consumer needs before it's likely to make a purchase. So we need to interact with the brand a minimum of 7 different individual times before we have that know, like, and trust with them, before we feel like we're actually ready to open our wallets to say, yes, let's do this. Yes, I'm ready to commit to working together. So if we've only posted, say, 1 or 2 times about this particular offer, not the full 7 or more, how can we expect that people have learnt enough about it, been educated enough about it, understand enough, have actually taken the time to consider it enough to be willing to open their wallets and give you money, especially if you are going in the high 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 figure offers. You absolutely need to be refining everything and repeating. So to make this incredibly doable, what I want to do is break down exactly what I've been doing with some of my coaching and our agency clients right now, because I think you guys can use this. I think you can take exactly what we've been doing and you can replicate it, or you can listen to what I'm about to share and adjust it slightly to fit your business. It's simple, it works, and it's actually something you can start literally today. So like I said, the very first thing is having that irresistible offer. We need one super specific, super clear, and incredibly valuable offer. It needs to be irresistible. It doesn't have to be site-wide. It doesn't have to be blasted all over every part of your website. It just needs to be really easy to understand. And like I said, it doesn't have to be blasted site-wide, because what we can do, step number 2, is create a dedicated landing page or a collection. So if you've got products, create a collection. If you have a service-based offer, create a landing page. I don't want you to make people dig through your website. I just want you to give them one solid singular place to go. This is for your email marketing, so you're linking directly to that landing page. Your social media, you've got the link in your bio. Your advertising, we're not linking to the homepage. We're not linking to some big waffly service page. We're linking directly to this offer page. It's for a few reasons. One, it means we have direct tracking, and so we can direct people straight to that place. And secondly, because we can see the metrics and we can see if it's working. And while it may not necessarily give us tons of value right here, right now, think about next Black Friday and how many learnings you can get from this particular Black Friday or Christmas campaign or anything like that, and how you can utilize it in the future. I was talking to my team about this today around the concept of coming up with strategies for clients. And I explained to them that the way that we do it is essentially like a 4-step process. It's guess with knowledge. So we're kind of making assumptions based on the brands we know, especially for brands that are brand new. We're making a lot of assumptions, but we are rooting them in strategy and we're rooting them in knowledge. Then we strategize, then we plan the content, then we execute it, and then we refine it. So we look at, okay, this is what we're assuming is going to work and what we're hoping will work. If obviously you've got prior insights, use those. Then you create it and you execute it. And then you analyze it and go, okay, how can I make this better next time? So just remember that with this campaign too, even if it's not your biggest success ever, look at all of the opportunities to learn from it, because that will help you with your Christmas campaigns. That's going to help you with next year's campaigns. And come next Black Friday, you're going to be such a whiz when it comes to marketing. You are going to know your business so intimately that you are going to make 10 times more sales next year than you do this year, which is so exciting. The third step is setting up a really simple marketing rhythm. Now, in particular with my client today, we talked about sending 2 emails a week. We looked at her email marketing rhythm. She's pretty good with socials. She's got us managing her advertising. So the team at the Social Collective are managing her ads. And then the email marketing side of things was the only bit she was a little bit nervous about. And so what we did is we set up a really simple strategy. We picked 2 days and 2 times that she is going to consistently post content and send it out to her email database. And then we decided on what the topics would be. So for this particular client, we've picked Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m. And so that's enough to stay top of mind, especially in the lead up to Black Friday. We've got enough variety in the emails. So we've got some emails saying it's coming soon. We've got an email to say it's live. We've got a couple of emails to educate on the types of products that are on offer. And then from there, we're going to edit and refine it with this particular client. But of course, you can plan out your whole Black Friday sequence. We do it with a lot of other clients, especially in the agency side. We will map out their full Black Friday campaigns and have everything ready to go with all of the different messages, all of the different offers, everything that they need to really maximize that opportunity. But if you're finding it overwhelming, I would say look at what you're doing and step it up a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of a stretch goal. So going from, is it 1 email a week to maybe 2, just for this period of time. Then we can, of course, drop back down to 1 when we need to. But I would say between now and the end of the year, at least at least once a week for your newsletters so that you can consistently show up with your audience, remind them that you are here, remind them of what you have to offer, and start bringing that money in. And the last thing, step number 4 that I have to share, is repeating your message across your socials. Like I said before, with those touch points, making sure that we've got multiple different opportunities to be seen and to be heard. Remember, you're not being annoying, you're being clear. Every time you communicate something, unless, of course, you're literally repeating the exact same phrase every single time you post, and that is the only thing you share, every single post that you share is building on the knowledge that they had from the post before, or the email before, or the ad that they saw before. So everything you're sharing is building and adding to their knowledge and understanding of your brand. So by the time that they hit that 7th touch point, they are ready. They are well educated. They hopefully should have no questions, and they're ready to open their wallets and buy. So just to go back on everything that I've said, it's 1 is a simple, irresistible offer. That is step 1 that we need. Step 2 is we need a dedicated landing page or a collection for people to go to. The 3rd is having a really simple social media rhythm or email marketing rhythm, whatever it is that you need. And the 4th is repeating your message across your socials. And the reason why all of this and this really simple strategy and structure works is because it creates momentum. It creates that momentum without ultimately draining your energy and making you feel like you are creating, like I said, 52 different offers and talking about them in so many different ways. And this is such an easy thing that you can map out in the next hour. If you sat down and gave yourself some deep work time, you sit, you turn off all notifications and all distractions, sit down with a pen and paper and map out exactly those 4 things that I've mapped out for you just now, I guarantee you won't be scrambling, you won't be guessing, because you have a system. It all of a sudden feels like instead of the marketing running you, you're running it. Because I can guarantee you that when your marketing has a really smooth rhythm to it, your audience can feel that. They trust it, they like it, they know you, and they respond well to it. So think about this as an opportunity, not just to make sales for Black Friday, but think about it as an opportunity to make your marketing feel good, not just for you, but also for your customers. It's a really good opportunity to use this now, kind of like a training ground pre-Christmas. We've got a training ground and an opportunity to test things out. You also might want to use Black Friday as the period to see what's selling and what's not. So when it comes to your Christmas campaigns, you know what to focus on. So remember, now is such a great time to test, to try, and really start to build up that trust with your audience, because I guarantee you if you start now, come Christmas, people will be sold. They will be buying your products. They will be booking up your services. And it will feel a lot less stressful if you start now versus if you start on the 20th of December. If you're listening to this episode though, and you feel like you still need a bit of help, I do have one thing that I want to share for what to do next. So I feel like for those of you who are listening to this episode who feel like, oh, this has just really hit home, and you know what, I am kind of feeling the pressure a bit, Lauren. I do feel like I have a lot on my plate and I have a lot to do. I want you to know this. First of all, like I said, you're not alone. It is definitely not too late. And I actually have a couple of VIP days left for those of you who are listening here in New Zealand. I have one left in November and one left in December for anyone that wants to map out their Christmas offers, their Black Friday offers, or stuff for the new year. So in this strategy session, it's a full day, just you and me and any of your team that you want to bring along. But in this day, what we're going to map out is your offers, exactly how we're going to communicate them. So your messaging, your vision, everything there. We're going to plan out your emails. We'll plan out your content. We can create the copy and also look at how we can create some really wicked cool assets. And I'm going to give you a really clear, calm plan to walk away with. So this is exactly for those kinds of founders who feel like they want to get on top of it this season. They don't want to be drowning in it anymore. You don't want to be feeling like you're drowning in a sea of social media content. So if you're feeling like, yes, this is me, I want to book one now, or I want to book one for the new year so I can start off feeling fresh as a daisy with a really great marketing plan, DM me on Instagram. So I'm at lauren.thesocialcollective, or you can DM the Coffees and Content podcast, which is at Coffees and Content Pod. DM us VIP Day, and I will send you a special offer just for the listeners. But that is everything for today. Thank you guys for spending your morning with me. Whether you are off to launch something big and amazing, or you're just trying to stay grounded through this season, I really hope this episode is just helping you breathe a little bit easier today, knowing that you can move forward with clarity and excitement. So that is everything for today, but I will be back same time, same place next week, and I will see you then. Happy marketing.